If you are not able to make her sad, she'll never love you. Okay, I'm going to explain something here that it just seems like most guys can't understand. Okay, the one thing that like guys just can't understand is that her emotions are opposite to your logic. I know that sounds wild. I know that sounds completely just like batshit crazy. But this is what you're going to experience, is that her emotions are opposite to your logic. So what does that mean? That means if you are not able to make her sad, she'll never love you. If you're not able to make her sad, okay, listen close. If you're not able to cause some type of emotional turbulence from time to time, where she either hates you for a period of time, or you pissed her off, or she's sad, or she's super jealous, or some type of negative emotion was felt, she is never going to love you. She is never going to love you the way that you want. She is never going to care about you the way that you want. And I'm going to tell you this as well. You can't fix this thing that I'm teaching, the emotional disruption. You can't fix this or mitigate this or get around this by being a Chad, or by looksmaxing, or by having a better jawline, or by being charismatic. Because at some point in the dynamic, the relationship or the interaction is going to move from casual to we actually know each other. When I say casual, no, I'm not fucking talking about you two just casually hooked up. When I say casual, here's what I mean by this. Casual means, let's say you meet a woman at a coffee shop. You say, hey, it's great to meet you, whatever. You start talking to her. That's a casual interaction. Even I would say the first couple dates are casual. You are casually getting to know each other. A lot of times, even if you and the woman sleep together once or twice, it's still casual. When does it move to more of a relationship? When does it move to the phase that says, hey, we know each other? Me and this woman know each other. This woman knows me on a personal level. I know this woman on a personal level. It happens once you've spent a significant amount of hours with that woman, to where she feels like she knows you, okay? Meaning you got to the phase where you could call her up on the phone and say, you know, I'm going to go grab food. We're going to meet, blah, blah, blah. Or like, I'm going to this taco shop. I'm going to get a quesadilla. Do you want me to bring you back a steak quesadilla too? And she'll answer, and you don't have to worry about some kind of bullshit shit test where like she doesn't answer something, or you have to play some game. Okay, at some point, the relationship, this is what I'm trying to say, at some point the relationship is going to move into a phase where you're out of casual, and she goes, okay, I know this guy, or you're going to look at her and you'd be like, okay, we know each other, to where it's no longer casual like that. That's what I'm trying to say. When it gets to that point, she has to feel some type of negative emotion, or she will never love you. I will give you a real life example. I will give you a real life example of how this has played out in even my life. So a woman that I used to see, she invited me to go camping, okay, and we were probably like 6 or 7 weeks into seeing each other. And she calls me up, or she says something like, hey, my friends are going camping, and I'm on this camping trip. Do you want to come? And I said yes. Now, obviously, I've told you in other videos to be unpredictable and why women respond positively towards this, even if they respond to it negatively in the moment. So here's what happened. She invites me to go camping. I say yes for about 10 days leading up to it. So I solidified plans with her, and she invited me to go first. And then last minute I flaked. I called her and I said, hey, or I texted her and I said, I am not going, send. I have to work. I am doing something with my business, send, or something like that. And she called me. And she tried to keep composure, and she tried to be mature, and she tried to, like, hold herself together. But then as soon as she got home, she said, we need to talk. And instantly I knew what was coming. And when she said, we need to talk, or I want to talk to you, or we should really talk about this, or whatever the case may be, the first thing she said is, you made me feel sad. You made me sad. I was really sad that you flaked on me. Or nobody's ever done that to me before. And even though you told me whatever's going on with your business or whatever, or you told me you had to do something, I right away thought, like, is there a different woman or whatever the case may be, or she didn't know why I flaked on her. She thought I didn't like her. Okay, this is what I'm saying is, like, most guys are completely predictable. To her in that moment, it was completely unpredictable that I randomly flaked literally just like a day before we were supposed to leave, or like maybe even that same day, I think it was. I can't even remember. Well, you fast forward now 7, 8, 9, 10 months later, as I've known her, those little micro hiccups in the relationship strengthen the bond. And this is one thing that guys don't understand, is like, her emotions are opposite to your logic. If you are like easy to please, like, this is what I'm telling you, you have to carry yourself with like some type of aura that it's like it's hard to be pleased, where like you are willing or able, just through your root personality, to cause disruption because you're doing what you want to do. So the only way you do this is if you make yourself your own mental point of focus at all times. So because that was going on in my work life, or whatever the case may be at that time months ago, I just called her up and I flaked. Most guys don't have the nuts to do that. Most guys don't have the nuts to flake. They don't have the nuts to be unpredictable, and they cause zero like, I don't want to call it emotional disruption, but they're not willing to cause any negative emotion, which makes them super predictable. And this is why you'll even find like the Chad husband, where it's like, you know, he's a good guy, and, you know, he's 7 feet tall, and he makes a lot of money, and he looks really good, but because he is just so predictable, and because she knows he's always there and he's not hard to please at all. And keep in mind, this type of stuff only works once you two have gotten to know each other. That's why I'm saying it moved past a casual interaction. Like, this is when you have been like steady dating for, you know, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever. Here's what I mean when I say completely unpredictable. Let's say you're dating a woman, and let's say you're at her place or she's at yours, and let's say you spent a few hours together or whatever, and then you just you look down at your phone maybe, and something comes up, or you want to leave, and you say, all right, I gotta bounce, and you're just out the door within like 30 seconds. You say, all right, I'm gonna get going. And she doesn't know why. She doesn't know if something came up, and she might even ask you, is something wrong? Did I do something? And you're like, no, I just gotta get going. That's what I mean, is like, you have to have that edge of unpredictability. That edge of unpredictability is what gets her in that emotional sweet spot pocket between hot and cold. Like, things are hot and things are good when everything's good and cordial, but then she needs that opposite effect too. She needs the other side of the coin. She needs the emotional disruption from time to time, or she just gets super bored. She gets super bored, you're super predictable. Now, the reason why a lot of times Chads, okay, if you want to call it that, cause emotional turbulence or turmoil naturally, is because they have so many options that naturally they're unpredictable, because minute for minute, hour for hour, that guy doesn't know what he's going to do because he has so many options available. So he might be over here one day, he's over here another day. Like, this is what I can tell you. She has to be bringing these conversations to you. You'll see what I mean. So what are the conversations? The conversations that she has to be bringing to you are all of the conversations that the beta male brings to the woman. Babe, how do you feel? Babe, what's wrong? What can I do to make this better? You know, I love you so much, but, you know, I just feel like you're distant and I'm really scared to lose you. All this type of stuff that the guy who's really attached is saying to her, she starts to say to the guy. Now, the other thing that I want to make very, very clear is, if you don't bring the drama, if you don't bring the turbulence to the relationship first, call it whatever you want. Maybe even you call it like a temper tantrum. Imagine a toddler freaking out and having a temper tantrum. If you don't bring this stuff first, she finds ways to bring the chaos and the drama and the turmoil because she becomes so fucking bored. You have to really understand this. Like, if you don't bring these things to the relationship first, I promise you she will. And by the time she brings it to the relationship first, at that point, you're probably so damn scared to even rock the boat. You're probably so weak and emotionally attached at that point. By the time she brings the drama to the relationship first, then you really start to beg and plead for the relationship to be stable. And right now you're really scared to lose her, and then you'll lose her completely regardless. One thing I need to make abundantly clear is the dynamic between the masculine and the feminine. The masculine is the father, the feminine is the mother. A lot of times as a man, a lot of times as the man is really in love with a woman, or he really likes her, or he really cares for her, he's tapped into the father dynamic or the father spirit. So he wants to protect her, provide for her, love her. Okay, women, if she's not tapping into the mother spirit towards you, the child has a temper tantrum and she wants to be nurturing. The child brings chaos or drama or can't sleep and she wants to be loving. The child is sick and she wants to be nurturing. If she's not bringing you the motherly care, she's not loving you the full potential that she could. Like, you're losing her. And you're not losing her, like, that's why I'm telling you, you can't just, like, fix this stuff through, like, being a Chad. Or, like, you can give that woman a more attractive guy physically, but, like, she doesn't have that emotional depth and bond with him when it comes to the masculine to feminine. And that's what I mean is, like, you have to be a problem that she wants to fix or that she has to solve. I will say that again. You have to be a problem that she wants to fix or that she has to solve. You have to have something, or you have to have a type of, like, situation or problem, or your personality has to be, like, slightly problematic where she wants to fix you. This is why, okay, just stick with me, because if this sounds really broad, it is, but let me just, like, bring it back to home base here for a second. This is why in movies, women fall in love with the villain archetype. They do not fall in love with the hero archetype. You can give her, the superhero, and after a while she goes, he's really strong, he's really masculine, he's really powerful, but he's boring because he's always good. The villain, on the other hand, is problematic. She wants to say, how can I fix him? How can I change him? How can I change him and make him good for me only? And this is why women fall in love with the villain. This is the difference between the male gaze, G-A-Z-E, and the female gaze. Okay? You're sitting there looking at the hero, thinking that that's who she's looking at, and meanwhile, since the female archetype falls in love with the story or the depth of character or the complexity, she is sitting there looking at the villain getting turned on by him, and you didn't even know it. This is why I'm telling you, you have to learn, understand, and master the language of women. So this is why I created this process. If you join me inside of my community that I built, I'm going to show you all of the little micro depths and micro nuances of female nature, so that way you don't run into these problems anymore. Because what I did was I took every single element that I found over the years, after 10 or 11 years of dating now, I find all the little micro nuances between the masculine and the feminine, and then I show you, hey, this is how you behave and this is how you act in the beginning when you first meet the woman. This is what you do on the first 1 to 3 dates. This is how you withhold interest so that way she desires to chase your validation. This is how you act accordingly to have a proper long-term relationship. I built this so that way you can basically just, like, turn your brain off and you can just follow along what I already built. That's why I built this. So join us inside of this community, because if you are only, like, if you're only seeing these concepts that I talk about here on my channel right now for the first time, you have to understand we're only scratching the surface. We're only scratching the surface for how deep I actually take these concepts inside of my private community. So join us inside of that. I have an entire system. I want you to see this system. I'm extending the invitation to you right now. You're going to see why this process has gotten so many men so much results. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.